Mark, a useful week then to bed in those new players a little bit more with no midweek games. So it must have been a useful time for you.
Yeah, it's always. Listen, it's nice to play, of course it is, but it's nice to have sometimes, particularly after a win, a chance to get back on the training ground and again work towards what we're trying to achieve as regards to the adaptation of our team and introducing furthermore the kind of my methodology of how I want us to play and how I want us to work. So yeah, it's been a good week this week on the training ground. We've had a good 4 day lead into the game as well, or we will have by the time the game comes. So yeah, we're pleased with how that's come.
And that victory on the road must have been a massive boost to everyone at the club.
I think it was needed. Listen, there was a lot of calmness. We were calm within the club, and as a group of staff and players, we always tried to transmit that because of the amount of positives we kind of did take from the two previous defeats. We always It's not a case of me searching and trying to find positives. The positives for us as staff were really apparent within the games. There was obviously areas where we fell down as well, and they were apparent. But again, the positivity from what we took from those defeats, we kind of tried to transmit that to the players. Obviously, deal with the areas where I felt we could have been better. But I even said after the game that it's about challenging them to go and get the 3 points at Bristol Rovers. So everything was geared towards that, and we've got to go game by game and really focus in on what we're trying to do. And we did that in the lead up to Bristol Rovers, and we got our rewards in what was a tough game. I looked at the stats, and people might say, well, they didn't have a shot on target, but let's be honest, they put us under pressure. They put us under some pressure, and we had to be really disciplined in how we defended. We had to change our shape a few times as well because they manipulated their shape. So I thought the boys took that on really well within the game, and also executed a lot of the defensive actions good, and then got into the attacking moments and capitalised, and we looked a real threat.
What about the squad then, Mark? How are they looking? How's the team? Any problems?
Yeah, I mean the squad's okay. We've had two blows within with JJ coming back, and he's suffered an injury on his return, which is really unfortunate. It's kind of a really freak injury again, where he was doing everything right. He was looking strong, and he's just gone through one action, and he's damaged his quad. So that's going to be JJ out for the rest of the season. He'll undergo surgery as well on that, which is a real blow for us as a club, but for the young man himself as well. He'd worked so hard to get back, and these things happen. Everybody had worked and ticked off everything we needed to tick off, and it just kind of it come out of the blue. So we couldn't predict that, and we're here to support the lad. But yeah, it's a real blow for us. And then something else where Anthony Stewart has joined us, did everything right. He's been playing all season, he's been training all season, and again he's picked up an injury as well within the first training sessions. We had this suspension where we had to deal with that again, but he's picked up a freakish injury within training where we have to assess it now, and we have to look at it in more depth to see what the extent of it is. But again, there was nothing. It's a real kick in the teeth to us and for the players, and it's a situation what we're going to have to deal with. So yeah, not great on two fronts there, not great at all, but it's a situation we have to deal with. The other players, Nathan Holland's been back in training as well and looking good. Ethan, he's getting closer and closer all the time, so he'll be looking to join back into training soon and integrate back in. And Dean Lewinson is now fully on the pitch, which is really good. Really good to see him working so hard with Adam. So he's on the road to recovery as well. So there's been some disappointing news in that front again, but it's also backed up with a bit of positivity as well with those players I've just mentioned.
The Anthony Stewart injuries you must just look to the sky when something like that happens. He's been brought in specifically to do a job and to be part of a defensive unit and give you some strength and depth in that department. You must just hold your head in your hands sometimes when things like this happen.
Yeah, I did. I was like that for, I'd say, a good half an hour after I got given the news. But one thing I've learned quickly in football is that, yeah, okay, problems arise all the time. You have to accept them and then deal with them and find solutions. So that's what we're doing quickly. Yes, I mean, everything what we did was we couldn't have predicted it. His availability has been near on 100%. He came with nothing, but again, it's just one of those things what's happened. So yes, we have to deal with it, and we have to find a solution now as to how we're going to deal with it moving forward. We need to find out the full extent of it, of course. So we're still working on that with the medical staff and getting the opinions we need to do. So, we're hopeful that it might not be too long, but we've got to prepare ourselves for the worst just in case.
So no time frame at the moment, but it's going to be weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be weeks. Yeah, it won't be days; it'll be weeks. But again, no specific time frame on it as yet. Again, hopefully it might come through it. But listen, Anthony's was devastated as well. One of the reasons we brought him in was leadership as well. So he's keen. He wants to be about the group, and he's a really strong character. It's a bit of a blow for him, of course it is, and knocked him for six a little bit. But even now he's been in the video with the players. He's talking. He's still integrating into the group. So it's just unfortunate we can't see him on the pitch, immediately.
And would you, depending on the time frame of that injury, Mark, would you look at maybe a free agent? Obviously, that's the situation you're in at the moment. Would you look for players that could potentially come in and give you another option in defence?
Well, depending on the time scale of it, like you said there, I think, yeah, potentially that might be something we have to look at, and might be, it's something we will have to probably do if it's longer than expected. But we'll see. We've got ideas of players out there all the time. We have a database of players who are free agents and who are higher on our list or lower on our list. So we have fantastic staff who are really knowledgeable about players who are available, so we can step into that if need be. Hopefully not. Hopefully we won't have to, but if we need to, we'll have to find a solution, and I'm sure we can work on that.
Well, the bottom line is the two defenders who played on Saturday got you a clean sheet. So you've got two defenders. It's more about that. It's more about covering them if there's a problem there. So wrap them up in cotton wool when they're coming off the pitch, Zach and Jack.
You'd be no good in my team meetings because you're just saying two defenders have got us a clean sheet there. That's not, it's certainly not how I work. As a team, we defend as a team. We defend as a team and we attack as a team. That's
what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But I just thought I'd pull you up on that and let you know. But yes, I would say that. Collectively we were really good defensively, and Zach and Jack Tucker were part of that defensive unit as well, and they've been doing really well. Really pleased with them. Listen, about wrapping up in cotton wool, sometimes that can come back to bite you if you do that. Again, we have to train how we play. We have to train how we play, because if you start coming off players and start saying, well, you can't go in for this tackle and that tackle, you've got more chance of getting injured. Then we have to train how we do. Yes, there's certain things we can modify within our training and what we do to help minimise the risk, so to speak. But again, when we train, these boys have been showing now that they train at full tilt and they're fully committed to what we're doing.
I'm surprised it's taken you that long to actually pull me up on something that I've said, to be honest with you, Mark, because it's usually a bit sooner than that.
Well, we're getting more comfortable with each other. We are getting more comfortable. It's all right. It's okay.
Listen, home game and a real opportunity, home form, home results, and the fans, I would imagine, are desperate as you are to see, a result, some goals at home and a victory.
Yeah, I said that I think I said in my post-match after Bristol, I thanked the fans as well, and they helped push the players through and stuff like that. I said we have a responsibility, coming to Stadium NK, it's a big stadium, and the fans are spread out a little bit, but again, that's our responsibility as a team to create that atmosphere as well. And I think if the fans are on it and we're on it as a team, it'll help create that kind of vibrant atmosphere where we can get on top of teams. But no, listen, our home form needs to improve. We know that. We know that certain teams sit back against us. I don't think Oxford will. I think Oxford will. They're a real attacking team and pose a real threat going forward. with their attacking from wide areas and forward play and things like that, and fullbacks joining in. So I think we need to really be on our game from a defensive point of view. But again, we need to take the game to Oxford as well, and we're the home team. We want to be on the front foot. We want to get hold of the ball and have the ball and dominate the ball as much as we can. But no, I envisage a really, really strong competitive game from two teams who are going to play football in the right way.
And of course, the former MK Dons manager in Carl Robinson coming back to Stadium MK. Have you crossed paths with Carl before?
No, never. I know a lot about him as regards to his experience. I mean, he's racking up some games within professional football as a manager, and he's done extremely well. So, like I said, with his team, they're really, really strong attacking wise. I know they've not been on a great run, but I've been watching a lot of their games and the footage from their games as well, and they're a strong, dangerous team. Sometimes, like I was saying, you can have performances and results don't always go your way, but they will pose us problems. They will cause us problems on Saturday, so we need to be prepared for that. I'm coming up against a really, really experienced manager in the Football League, so I need to be on my game as well to combat that. So yeah, I think all in all we're expecting a tough game, but hopefully a good game.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate your time.
Cheers.
Josh Coyote, we spoke a couple of weeks ago, didn't we, about him being almost like a new signing when he was going to be back fully fit. How's he taken the news? Because obviously it's been such a torrid time for him.
Yeah, as you would probably expect, the boy was devastated when it happened. It's sometimes when you see the players straight afterwards, you can't console them. All you've got to do is kind of put your arm around them and show them that we're going to be there to support him. That's all you can do. I've been in that position as a player before where I've had numerous injuries and literally come back from one injury and got another one. I know how it feels, and I know that sometimes words can't say anything. So just hopefully knowing that he's got our support. I'm not sure what the plan is fully with Rotherham, whether he'll go back and complete his rehab back with them, with it being out till the end of the season now. So I think that will probably be the case, but we've got to 100% clarify what that is. But while we're here, he'll get our full support from all the staff and what have you, and we'll try and help him through it. And listen, like I said to him there, I said, listen, he's a young player. He'll come back from this. He'll come back from it, and he'll hopefully have a long career in the game.
It does feel like we didn't get to see really anything of him whatsoever at MK Dons. I think he was limited to just 10 appearances. I mean, it's a hugely frustrating loan for pretty much everybody, I imagine.
Yeah, and I think so. And I think even the games he played, he was still feeling that knee. I can remember when I first come in, he was talking to me around it, and he said, I just didn't feel myself, and it got to a point where I couldn't do it. So I think there's an air of frustration on his part that he's not, the fans and everybody at the club have probably not got to see the real JJ in that respect, so there'll be elements of frustration there. But he'll come back. He'll come back, and he's a fantastic player. I've seen enough of him and spoke to enough people about him that when he plays, and he can be a real threat on the pitch. It's just a real shame that we've kind of lost him for this period of the season.
I think one of the most standout things, certainly for me, on Saturday was the way that it felt a more aggressive performance, and it felt like there was a little bit more bite and a little bit more needle. And I think the game itself panned out in that way. There was an awful lot of physical challenges. There was a little bit of needle amongst the supporters, and it felt like it was a different kind of MK Dons performance from what we've seen. Do you agree with that? Do you think there was a little bit more bite about your side? Yeah,
my kind of game. No, that's... We have a certain way of playing, of course, and we want to play with the ball. We didn't probably have the ball as much as we normally do in those games, and that was credit to Bristol Rovers. We know they're a strong outfit. They're pushed on by their crowd there. It's a real tight ground. It's full. Our supporters got behind us, and their supporters got behind them. But I thought what we did in moments as well was kind of silence their crowd a little bit and frustrate them a little bit, and that was due to our tactical discipline from the players. And then when we needed to be aggressive on our press, I think I think we've started to see since we arrived in about how we working against the ball a lot better, and how we've become a more aggressive counter-pressing team to try and win the ball back, and kind of those behaviours I talk a lot about to the players of how we act on the pitch and how we support each other on the pitch. I think they were really, really apparent in the Bristol Rovers game, and I always challenge the players to be aggressive, never cross the line, so not reckless and getting silly yellow cards or red cards, but we have to be on the front foot, and we talk about the front foot mentality all the time, and how we press and how we're aggressive and we're ready to go, against the ball and also with the ball as well. And I thought that was really apparent, and I agree with what you're saying, that you could see that within the game.
I suppose it's always important to have that extra dimension, isn't it? For all you want to play the nice football along the floor, sometimes when the game gets into that nitty-gritty stage, you need that element as well.
And I think that's what we challenge the players to do. In the difficult times, can we be more disciplined and more kind of game savvy? And then in the good moments we have, can we be more clinical? Because we've created chances, we just need to be more clinical, whether that be the final pass, the finish like we had against Shrewsbury and Exeter. We didn't really get the finishes in those games. Can we have the composure to finish? But yeah, there'll be certainly moments in games where we have to mix it a little bit. That is dictated to at this level and the different opponents you come up against. But again, when we have the chance to play, we have to show our quality and what we're about.